I'd been out in the side yard all day, wrestling with a busted irrigation system under a blazing 90-degree sun. It was a Sunday, and I'd been at it since 6 in the morning, digging through clay-packed dirt to replace a cracked PVC pipe that had been flooding our driveway. The hardware store guy said it was a 2-hour job, but 8 hours later, I was still caked in mud, my knuckles scraped raw from wrenching rusted fittings. We couldn't afford the $1,500 a plumber wanted, not with my wife, Karen, funneling every spare dime into our son Dylan's travel baseball team and her weekly yoga retreats. So there I was, saving us a chunk of cash, feeling half dead, but quietly proud of getting it done. All I wanted was a shower, a beer, and maybe a nod of appreciation from my family. But that's not how things work in my house. I trudged through the garage into the kitchen, leaving a trail of dirt behind me. Dylan, my 17-year-old, was sprawled on the couch with his buddy, Ethan, playing some loud video game. The second I stepped in, Dylan smirked, didn't even look up, and said, "Whoa, Ethan, check it out, the swamp monster's back. Smells like he's been crawling through a landfill." Ethan snorted, nearly choking on his soda, laughing like it was the funniest thing he'd ever heard. From the dining room, where Karen was scrolling through her phone, she chimed in, "Well, at least he's useful for something this week." More laughter, sharp and cutting, like I was some punchline they'd been tossing around forever. I stood there, sweaty, filthy, my back screaming from hours of work, and they didn't even see me. Just laughed. I forced a grin, grabbed a water from the fridge, and shuffled to the bathroom. That's when something in me cracked, not loud or dramatic, just a quiet snap, like a twig underfoot. This wasn't new. Last month, I spent 2 weekends rebuilding our deck because the boards were rotting through. Karen griped about the noise the whole time, and when I finished, saving us $3,000, she just said, "Took you long enough," and pointed out a splintery edge I'd missed. "Dylan? He hasn't said thanks for anything since he was 12. I cover the rent, the Wi-Fi, the car payments. Karen's got a fancy job at a boutique, makes more than my warehouse gig, but her money's for personal growth, while mine keeps the lights on. I do the repairs, the lawn, the oil changes. I grill burgers 3 nights a week. And what do I get? Called a swamp monster by my own kid while my wife cackles. In the shower, I stood under the hot water for 30 minutes, letting it wash away the dirt but not the weight. I thought about the last 12 years, how I'd become the family joke, invisible unless the gutters needed cleaning or the fridge was empty. I went to bed early. Karen didn't notice. She was too busy texting her yoga friends about some weekend spa trip. I lay there, staring at the ceiling, not mad, just done. At 4 in the morning, I got up, packed a duffel with clothes, my toothbrush, my work laptop, and my passport. I pulled $400 from my private savings account. Karen never cared enough to ask about it, and left my house key on the counter with a note. "Fix your own pipes next time." I drove to a cheap motel off the highway, paid cash for a week, and turned off my phone's location. The room smelled like stale cigarettes and regret, but it was mine. By 7 in the morning, my phone was buzzing, missed calls from Karen, then Dylan. I didn't answer. This wasn't a tantrum or some midlife crisis. This was me finally saying enough after years of being the guy nobody notices until something breaks. I woke up in that motel room with the lumpy mattress and the faint hum of the highway outside, feeling like I'd stepped into someone else's life. It was Monday, and for the first time in years, I didn't have to check Karen's to-do list or rush to fix something before work. My phone was already lighting up, 9 missed calls by 8 in the morning. Karen's first voicemail was pure irritation. "Jake, where are you? The garbage disposal's clogged again, and Dylan needs lunch money." Dylan sent a text. "Dad, Mom's pissed, what's the deal?" No question mark, no apology, just his usual half-assed shorthand. I didn't reply. I just sat on the edge of the bed, staring at the cracked paint on the wall, letting the quiet sink in. I called my old friend, Mitch, around 9. He's the only guy I've stayed close with since high school, a mechanic who never married because he says he's allergic to drama. Karen always called him a slacker, but Mitch just knows his worth. He wasn't surprised when I told him I'd left. "Man, I've been waiting for you to do this," he said. "Karen and Dylan treat you like their personal janitor." He offered me his couch, but I said no, I needed space, not a new place to play handyman. Mitch did one better, though. He knew a guy, his neighbor, who needed help with a garage remodel. Cash job, no questions asked. "You're good with tools," Mitch said. "Might as well get paid for it." By noon, the calls were piling up, 15 now, Karen's voicemails shifting from annoyed to edgy. "Jake, this isn't funny. Call me back." I ignored them and drove to a diner down the street, ordered pancakes and coffee, and just sat there. No one was asking me to unclog a drain or drive Dylan to practice. I felt lighter, like I'd been carrying a 100-pound backpack for years and finally set it down. After breakfast, I met Mitch's neighbor, a retired cop named Ray, who handed me a hammer and pointed at a stack of 2x4s. We spent the afternoon framing out a new wall for his garage. It was hard work, but it felt good. Nobody laughing at me, nobody rolling their eyes. Ray even tossed me $100 at the end of the day. "You're a lifesaver," he said. First time in forever someone thanked me for my work. Back at the motel, I checked my phone. 22 missed calls, a dozen texts. Karen's latest voicemail had a wobble in it. "Jake, please, just tell me you're okay." Dylan's texts were still casual, like he couldn't be bothered. Dad, come on, Mom's freaking. I almost responded, just to keep them from calling the cops, but I stopped myself. This wasn't about punishing them. It was about making them see what life's like without their fix-it guy. I thought about the last decade, how I'd been the one to patch the roof, swap out the water heater, repaint the living room. Karen would post pictures of the new house on social media, never mentioning who made it happen. Dylan only noticed me when his car wouldn't start. I was done being invisible. That night, I ordered a pizza and watched some action flick on the motel's fuzzy TV. My phone buzzed again, call number 23. I turned it to silent and let it sit on the nightstand. Mitch was right. I should have done this years ago. The plan? I didn't have one, not really. Just keep working, keep my distance. Let Karen and Dylan figure out how to handle the rent, the lawn, the disposal. Let them see what it's like when the guy they mock isn't there to save the day. Tomorrow, I call a lawyer just to know my options. Not ready to torch my life, but I'm not going back to being the family doormat. For now, I'm just Jake, a guy in a motel room, eating pepperoni pizza, and finally breathing free. It's been 4 days since I walked out, and I'm still at the motel, the one with the neon sign that flickers like it's on its last legs. The room's starting to feel less like a hideout and more like a base camp. My phone's up to 39 missed calls, mostly Karen, a few from Dylan, even one from my sister-in-law, probably roped into the drama. Karen's voicemails are a roller coaster. Annoyed, then panicked, now borderline desperate. Jake, the rent's due tomorrow, and I don't know what to do, she said in her latest one, her voice cracking. Dylan's texts are still lazy, like he's texting a buddy about a game. Dad, seriously, where you at? Mom's losing it. I haven't answered. Not yet. I'm not trying to be cruel, but I need them to feel the weight of my absence, to see what happens when their go-to-fix-it guy isn't there to bail them out. I spent the day with Ray again, working on his garage. We're installing insulation now, and he's already talking about hiring me for a shed project next week. Paid me another $100 today, cash, no fuss. It's not much, but it's mine, and it feels good to be valued for what I do. Mitch swung by at lunch, brought subs from the deli. We sat on Ray's tailgate, chewing roast beef and talking about the old days, back when we'd skip class to fish at the creek. He thinks I'm doing the right thing, staying gone. Karen's been running you ragged forever, he said. Let her figure out how to unclog her own sink. He told me Karen called him yesterday, fishing for info on where I was. Mitch played dumb, said he hadn't heard from me. Gotta love that guy. I did something big today, though. After work, I drove to a different bank, one Karen doesn't know about, and opened a new account. Transferred a third of our joint savings, my share, fair and square, and rerouted my paycheck to the new account. Then I called the cable company and took my name off the bill. Not trying to screw anyone over, just untangling myself. Karen's got her boutique job. She can cover the rent if she skips a few yoga classes. The texts started blowing up around 5. Dylan saying the Wi-Fi's acting up, Karen freaking out about the rent notice. Jake, I can't do this alone, she texted. Funny how she notices me now that the bills are piling up. I stopped at a barbershop on the way back to the motel. Got a real haircut, not the choppy ones I've been doing myself with clippers to save a buck. The barber, an old guy named Sal, chatted about baseball while he worked. I looked in the mirror when he was done and barely recognized myself, cleaner, sharper, like a guy who's got his act together. Bought a new pair of jeans and a shirt at the thrift store, too. Small stuff, but it's like I'm rebuilding myself, piece by piece. Back at the motel, I ordered Chinese takeout and flipped through channels, landing on a car restoration show. My phone buzzed again, call number 40. I let it go to voicemail. Karen's voice was softer this time. Jake, I'm sorry about the swamp monster thing. Please come home. Too little, too late. I'm not sure what's next. Mitch says to keep them sweating, let the lesson sink in. The rent's due, the lawn's probably a jungle, and Dylan's got a baseball tournament this weekend. Entry fees don't pay themselves. I'm curious to see how they handle it without me. Tomorrow, I'm meeting a lawyer Mitch knows, just to get a lay of the land. Not planning to file anything, but I need to know where I stand. For the first time in years, I'm calling the shots, and it feels like waking up after a long, bad dream. My phone's buzzing again, but I'm done for the night. Time to eat my lo mein and let the world turn without me for a while. It's been a week since I left home, and the motel's starting to feel like a weird kind of normal. The maid leaves extra towels now, and I've got a routine. Coffee from the gas station, work with Ray, takeout at night. My phone's at 51 missed calls, Karen's leading the pack, but Dylan's pitching in more now. The texts are shifting, less snappy, more rattled. Karen's latest voicemail was a mess. Jake, the lawn guy wants $200, and Dylan's tournament fees are due. I don't know how to handle this. Dylan's texts are still short, but there's a new tone. Dad, I messed up, I'm sorry, just call. I haven't responded. I'm not ready to let them off the hook. They need to sit with this, to understand what it's like when the guy they laughed at isn't there to mop up their messes. Today, I worked with Ray on his shed project, pouring concrete for the base. He's a good guy, pays on time, even offered me a beer after we finished. I turned it down, needed a clear head. Mitch stopped by, said Karen's been calling everyone we know, spinning a story about me disappearing. She even showed up at his shop, eyes red, asking if I was crashing with him. Mitch kept his mouth shut, but he heard from a mutual friend that Karen's struggling. The rent's late, the Wi-Fi's down, and Dylan missed a game because nobody paid the team dues. I didn't smile, but part of me felt vindicated. All those years I kept the house running, and they never noticed. Now they're noticing. I did something bold this afternoon. I went to the library and printed out my bank statements, then drove to a coffee shop downtown to go over them. While I was there, I saw Dylan across the street, walking with Ethan and some other kids from his team. He didn't see me at first, but Ethan did. His jaw dropped, and he nudged Dylan. My son turned, and for a second, our eyes locked. He looked confused, maybe a little ashamed. I just raised my coffee cup, gave a nod, and went back to my papers. Didn't say a word. By the time I looked up, they were gone, but I heard their voices fading, all hushed and urgent. Kids talk fast. I bet half the team knows by now that Dylan's dad isn't missing. He's just done. Back at the motel, I got a text from Karen that hit different. Jake, I didn't realize how much you do. I'm sorry. Can we talk? It's the first time she's owned up to anything, but it's still not enough. I've been the invisible man too long, fixing leaks, paying bills, grilling dinner, all while they rolled their eyes or worse, laughed. I called Mitch tonight, told him about the coffee shop run-in. He laughed, said Dylan's probably freaking out, wondering if I'm gone for good. Mitch thinks I should hold out longer, let the pressure build. He's got a point. The dishwasher's been acting up for weeks, bet it's dead by now. Karen's never touched a wrench. Dylan's got no clue how to mow the lawn. Let's see how they like it. I'm meeting that lawyer tomorrow, a friend of Mitch's who does family law. Not looking to divorce, not yet, but I need to know my rights, especially with the bank stuff I pulled. I also bought a cheap notebook today, started jotting down everything I've fixed around the house over the years, roof patches, car brakes, that time I rewired the porch light. It's a long list. Makes me wonder why I let them treat me like a joke for so long. My phone buzzed again as I was writing call number 52. Karen. I let it ring. I'm not the guy who jumps to fix everything anymore. For the first time, I'm choosing me, and it feels like I'm finally standing up straight after years of slouching. It's been 10 days since I walked out, and I'm still at the motel, though I'm starting to know the quirks of the place, the way the ice machine groans, the spotty Wi-Fi that works best near the window. My phone's up to 68 missed calls, and the texts are a mix of Karen's pleas and Dylan's awkward apologies. Karen's latest voicemail was raw. Jake, I can't keep up. The dishwasher's broken, and Dylan's coach is on me about the fees. I'm sorry, okay? Come home. Dylan's texts are longer now, less flippant. Dad, I didn't mean to swamp thing. I'm sorry I miss you. I read them, but I haven't replied. I'm not ready to slide back into being the guy who fixes everything while they smirk. They need to learn what it's like without me, and I need to figure out who I am when I'm not their errand boy. I met with the lawyer today, a no-nonsense woman named Carla who Mitch recommended. She went over my finances, said the new account and savings split were legal, but warned me to tread carefully if things head toward divorce. I told her I'm not there yet, just needed to know my options. She gave me a list of things to document, like my contributions to the house and bills. It got me thinking about that notebook I started, the one listing every repair I've done. I added more today, the time I fixed the garage door, the summer I repainted the fence. It's not just about money, it's about the hours, the sweat, the pride I took in keeping our home together, all while Karen and Dylan acted like it was nothing. Work with Ray's been steady. We finished the shed's foundation, and he's got me lined up for a deck job next. Paid me $200 today, and I stuck it in my new account. Mitch came by after, and we grabbed burgers at a dive bar. He says Karen's falling apart, called him again, crying, saying she didn't know how much I did until now. Apparently, she tried fixing the dishwasher herself and flooded the kitchen. Dylan's been mowing the lawn, but he butchered it, left patches everywhere. Mitch thinks it's hilarious, but I don't. It's sad, really, years of me holding it together, and they didn't even see it. Something unexpected happened this afternoon. I was at the hardware store, grabbing screws for Ray's project, when I ran into Dylan. He was with his mom, but Karen was in another aisle. He saw me first, froze, then walked over, hands stuffed in his pockets. Dad, he said, voice low, can we talk? I nodded, stepped outside. He looked different, tired, like he hadn't slept. Said he was sorry for the swamp monster jab. Said he didn't realize how much I did until the house started falling apart. It wasn't a big speech, but it felt real. I told him apologies are a start, but actions matter more. He nodded, said he's trying to help Karen more, even got a job application for the grocery store. I didn't hug him or anything too raw for that, but I said I was proud he was stepping up. Karen came out then, saw us, and started tearing up. I didn't stick around. Just said I'd call soon and left. Back at the motel, I looked in the mirror, really looked. The guy staring back wasn't the hunched-over Jake who'd been invisible for years. New haircut, new clothes, a spark in my eyes I hadn't seen in a decade. I'm not going back to how things were. Tomorrow, I'm looking at a cheap apartment, just in case. My phone buzzed, call number 69. I ignored it. I'm not the family's fix-it guy anymore. I'm Jake, and I'm figuring out what that means. It's been 2 weeks since I left, and I'm still at the motel, but I'm moving to a month-to-month apartment tomorrow, a small studio downtown, nothing fancy, just mine. My phone's hit 83 missed calls, and the texts from Karen and Dylan are a daily flood. Karen's voicemails are softer now, almost broken. Jake, I see it now. How much you did? Please, let's talk. Dylan's text show effort. Dad got the grocery job start next week. Can we meet? I finally texted Karen yesterday. Said I'd talk, but not at home, somewhere neutral, and Dylan had to be there. No more dodging the hard stuff. She agreed fast, said to name the place. So, today, we're meeting at a diner off Main Street, one with a quiet corner booth I reserved. I'm nervous, but not the shaky kind. More like the calm before a storm you know you can handle. I got to the diner early, ordered a coffee, and watched the door. Karen showed up first, looking frazzled, her usual polish look gone, hair messy, no makeup, jeans that didn't match her shirt. She spotted me, gave a small wave, and slid into the booth. Her eyes were red, like she'd been crying. Dylan came in a minute later, hoodie up, avoiding my gaze. He sat next to Karen, and we just sat there, three strangers in a diner, the air heavy with everything unsaid. I broke the silence, asked one question. When did I become the guy you laugh at? When did it get okay to treat me like a joke after I spent all day keeping our house together? Karen opened her mouth, started with excuses. It was just teasing. They didn't mean it. Dylan's just a kid. I cut her off. I pulled out my phone, played a clip I'd recorded last Thanksgiving, Karen talking to her friend in the living room while I was outside fixing the porch light. She was laughing, saying I was obsessed with playing handyman instead of hiring someone like a real adult. Dylan's face fell. Then I played another, Dylan on the phone with Ethan, mocking me for rebuilding the deck, calling me such a tryhard. I'd been collecting these moments, every jab, every snide remark they thought I didn't hear. Karen went pale. Dylan stared at the table, tears welling up. I didn't yell, just let the clip speak. Then I told them I wasn't their maintenance guy or their bank. I was supposed to be a husband, a father, someone they respected, not someone they tolerated because he paid the bills. Karen tried to talk, said she was sorry, said the house was falling apart without me. The rent's still late, the dishwasher's shut. Dylan's been trying to help, but it's not enough. I let her finish, then laid out my terms. 1. We split bills fairly based on income. Karen makes more, she pays more. 2. Dylan keeps his job, learns what work means. 3. We do family therapy, no excuses. 4. No more jabs, no more swamp monster crap, respect, period. Karen nodded, said she'd do anything. Dylan looked up, voice quiet, said he'd work, said he missed me, said he didn't know how much I did until I was gone. It was the first time I felt like he saw me, not just the guy who fixes stuff. I didn't agree to come home. Said I'd help with the dishwasher this weekend, but I'm staying at the apartment. I need to see them follow through, not just promise. As we left, Karen handed me a notebook, said she'd been writing in it. It was a list of every job I'd done around the house, car repairs, painting, plumbing, with estimates of what it'd cost to hire out. Total was over 12 grand. At the bottom, she wrote, "This doesn't count your time or care." I'm sorry I didn't see it. It wasn't perfect, but it was something. I drove back to the motel feeling lighter, like I'd finally said what I'd been swallowing for years. My phone's quiet tonight. Maybe they're thinking. Maybe they're changing. We'll see. It's been 3 weeks since I walked away from home, and I'm settled in my new apartment now, a one-bedroom with creaky floors and a view of the alley, but it's mine. The motel's a memory, and so's the old Jake, the one who took every jab and fixed every problem without a word. My phone's calmer these days, only a few texts from Karen and Dylan, no more frantic calls. The diner meeting changed something, not everything, but enough to start. Karen's been paying her share of the bills, even got a plumber to fix the dishwasher, though she texted me the bill with a sheepish, "You'd have done it cheaper." Dylan's working weekends at the grocery store, bagging groceries, and he's been helping with the lawn. It's not perfect, but it's progress. I went to the house last weekend, not to stay, just to fix a leaky faucet Karen couldn't handle. Dylan was there, asked if he could help. We worked side by side, me showing him how to swap out a washer, him actually listening. It reminded me of when he was 8, when we'd build model cars together, glue on our fingers, laughing. He apologized again, said he didn't know how much I carried until I was gone. I told him I appreciated it, but trust takes time. Karen watched us from the kitchen, quiet, like she was afraid to break the moment. She's different too, less snappy, more careful with her words. She's cut back on yoga retreats, said she's saving for a family therapist. We've got our first session next week, all 3 of us. I'm not holding my breath, but I'm willing to try. Work's been good. Ray's deck job turned into a referral for another neighbor, and I'm making steady cash fixing porches and fences around town. Mitch says I should start a side business, call it Jake's Fixes. I laughed, but I'm thinking about it. I bought a used toolbox, a nice one, and I've been sketching ideas for a workbench in my apartment. It's weird, having time to think about what I want, not just what needs doing. I even joined a rec league softball team Mitch runs. First time in years I've done something just for me. Last game, I hit a double, felt like a kid again. Karen sent me a photo yesterday, an old one from when Dylan was 10. We were camping, both of us grinning by a fire, marshmallows on sticks. Her text said, "I miss this. Can we get it back?" I stared at that picture for a long time, wondering when that happy kid turned into a teenager who'd mock his dad. When Karen decided I was just the help, I didn't text back, but I kept the photo. I'm not ready to move home, maybe never will be. I like my apartment, my space, my rules. But I'm open to rebuilding something with them, something better, where I'm not invisible. Dylan's been texting more, asking about my softball games, even sent a good luck before my last one. Karen's been honest about the budget, showed me the new joint account she set up. Small steps, but they're steps. I'm cautiously hopeful, but I'm not naive. People don't change overnight, and old habits die hard. If they slip back, I'm gone for good. No more doormat Jake. For now, I'm living for me, fixing houses for cash, playing ball, eating takeout when I want. I'm visible again, not just to them, but to myself. To anyone out there feeling like a ghost in their own life, listen, you're worth more than the stuff you fix or the bills you pay. Stand up. Walk away if you have to. It's scary, but it's freedom. I'll update in a few months if things shift, but for now, I'm Jake, and I'm building a life I don't want to escape from.